Okay, so welcome back and thank you so much. And do we have an Indian? I think you're new, right? Did you have before?
Here 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay, okay. That's okay. That's fine. Totally fine. So thank you very much for coming back. And as usual, we'll start with, setting proper motivation. That will be really good. Everybody can hear me well? Good.
Yes.
Okay, so
Geshema
something about
Lhadron.
the background, we are still not really rid of the, like removes the background. So, just imagine we are sitting in at the beach somewhere in California. I don't know, maybe where you have beaches. Doesn't matter. Our mind can travel anywhere we want. All right. Okay, so we will do, you know, setting up proper motivation. And what does that mean? And I guess everybody know, right? Just imagine that in front of you, right in front of your forehead, and Buddha Shakyamuni and His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and surrounded by all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas around them. And when you're saying Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, any beings, could be religious, could be non-religious, but those who are completely, dedicated their life and work for others, they are Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, it could be in human form, mostly in human forms, but they could be in different forms, definitely. So just imagine that all people who, all beings who have dedicated their life and legacy and their work for others, meaning uh, any beings that embodiment of wisdom and compassion are in front of you. And why they're here to help us to guide in our life in proper way. And then you're sitting in front of them, just like the eldest kind of child in your family, and you're leading the other, younger one to the right path and the right direction in life, finding kind of, very meaningful life or purpose in life. And all your, immediate parents, the parents your this lifetime, and then your brother, sister, sibling, uncle, auntie, everyone just around you, and they all wish to achieve, the most possible, the infinite or the long lasting happiness by removing the mental kind of negativities that existing within our mind stream, by removing that. And how to remove that? By applying the proper remedy. Here, the proper remedy meaning by knowing the reality, by sharpening your mind, really cultivating your proper wisdom, knowing the opposite of ignorance, which is wisdom, realizing interdependency, wisdom realizing emptiness, wisdom realizing selflessness. And this is the right antidote or right remedy that could remove the mental dirt, the root cause of the mental affliction. And if you remove that, we will find the final or the more stable peace. And then by cultivating the heart, which you know other before self, meaning selflessness, the main thing is compassion. You really want to remove the suffering of all beings, which include yourself, and which is compassion, right? And then, but with it motivation, and we could, set our minds also. But this motivation, we will do some meditation on focus on our breathing to settle our mind, very clear and stable. How do you really stabilize your mind? You need to, you know, try to remove the main some of the main obstacle that you know your mind goes like a destructive. So how to use that? Mind wandering and mental laxity or the mental dullness are the two main obscuration which really prevent you to build up your stability of mind, which meaning single pointed mind, meaning stability. If you are really distracted, anything that you do, it doesn't come really well. So because of that, build up the stability is very important. And then, you know, different terms that people use, like a shamatha meditation and vipassana. Shamatha here meaning build, cultivate clear and very stable mind. And how do you do that? You have to, follow different steps. How to build that? You need to focus on one object. Try to just focus only one object. You can pick up any object. Could be Buddha images, could be your parent, could be flower, could be uh, anything. But most effective thing is focus on your breath. Try to focus on your breath. Just think about your mind. Just try to focus only your breath, breathing in and breathing out, and the rest just ignore. Okay, so we'll do a few minutes of that meditation. And while you're doing this breathing exercise, breathe really completely natural way and very normal and relaxed way. And then in order to be able to do that, I think it's very important to, sit proper, body posture. And yeah, there's some of you are really, in the proper position in the physical posture, but you don't necessarily have to do all the seven, Vajrayana body posture. If possible, best. If not, you can sit on chair. The main thing is, make your spine very straight. Okay, that's very important. Spine straight, and then you know those who are sitting cross your leg, if there's any uncomfortable, if some kind of pain is there, you're welcome to just stretch. The main thing is your spine should be really straight. That's allow you to breathe really natural way and normal way. That's very important. Okay, and then the shoulder is also very relaxed manner, both shoulder complete relaxed manner. And if possible, you follow the 7 point body posture where you sit cross your you know legs as a like a full vajra or half vajra position. And then your hand, right hand on the left top of the left hand, and then the two thumbs slightly touch like this, and then place at the level of your navel. And then the two arms slightly open, not really completely touched to the ribs area, slightly open, but make sure that you don't get tense in your shoulder. Just very relaxed way. Okay, like this. And then the head slightly, you know, slightly tilted like this. And then try to look on the tip of your nose if possible. If not, just sit, you know, whatever way is comfortable for you. And then usually it says, if possible, try to touch your tongue at the upper palate of your, in the mouth. But sometimes you find difficult, so you could just leave as normal. And then the mouth not completely closed or not completely open, maybe just very natural position. Okay, so I think we have set the physical body posture, and then the motivation. We have the object of refuge, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, which include Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama in front of us to guide us, to shine their light, wisdom, and compassion, to eliminate the mental dirt within us, and which lead us to, complete peace and long-lasting happiness, right? And it's not only just you, all the other mother sentient beings also, leading that way. So now we do the few minutes of the shamatha meditation, and I'll just wait. Okay, so you can relax, you can stretch, just make comfortable for yourself. Yeah. Yes. So, so we are working. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we studying? 37 practice of the Bodhisattvas. Sounds just beautiful, right? How it sounds when you say 37 practice of the Bodhisattvas. What do you get when you say Bodhisattvas? What kind of understanding when you hear that name of the Bodhisattvas? I mean, Bodhisattvas, I guess it's a Sanskrit word, right? I think so. Because in English, probably you could translate like the heroic one, or maybe the courageous one, or something like that. I think so. You know, like a Bodhicitta, Bodhisattva, these are all Sanskrit words. So you make sure that the differentiation between Bodhisattvas and Bodhicitta. Can you make the differentiation between these two? What do you understand when you say Bodhicitta, and when you what kind of thing that you get in your mind when you say Bodhisattvas? Bodhicitta and Bodhisattvas. Do you get some differentiation between these two? Some understanding? Can you tell?
So bodhicitta would be the motivation. It was driving the bodhisattva.
Driving.
The motivation behind the was the individual practicing for the benefit of all. Bodhicitta is the spark for awakening. So
Okay. Maybe, what do you think? Bodhicitta and Bodhisattva.
Bodhicitta seems to me like something innate in a heart
Uh-huh.
that all of us have.
Uh-huh.
Sattva is a manifestation of that, the attempt to manifest that.
Okay. What do you think, Carrie?
I think wise ones are bodhisattva.
Wise one.
And wisdom.
Having wisdom, a person who is having wisdom. Okay. And the Bodhicitta?
I have thoughts on that one.
Okay. How about you, Neil? You will tell it.
sure.
Okay. Bodhicitta and Bodhisattva. You need to know the differentiation between these two.
So bodhicitta is the wish to attain enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings, or attain Buddhahood, to liberate all sentient beings, free them from their suffering and afflictive emotions, and raise them also to enlightenment.
Okay.
And bodhisattva is one has that in their mind always. They have that bodhicitta to that's their motivation.
Okay. What you're saying is Bodhicitta is a mind that wish to attain full enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings, right? I mean, sure. And then Bodhisattva means a person who is working for that, with that path, right? Okay. Anyone else have? It's good to do this kind of questioning, and you can question yourself and then try to get the answer. Okay, it's very important. Jason? Bodhicitta, awakening mind. Yes, in short, that's right. And Bodhisattva?
Think of that more like the student.
The person.
Right, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe Scout, you are a very senior student of Rinpoche.
The only thing that, and we talked about this last week or the week before about Bodhisattva. It's my understanding also that they have a level of awakening and understanding already. It's not just that they have the aspirational and realized bodhicitta, but that they also have a realization of emptiness as a kind of foundational, part of who they are. You could kind of say that the other week. I almost asked you, but I thought there was a sense of realization when someone's called a bodhisattva that they've already achieved some sense of realization.
Bodhicitta, Bodhisattva, Bodhicitta. We are saying Bodhicitta or Bodhisattva?
It's an individual who has
Okay.
achieved some level of realization.
Uh-huh.
You didn't say that the other week, and so I was
Uh,
wondering.
okay,
know,
okay. Uh-huh. Okay. Okay, let me tell you what it said. What does it mean? You could have loosened sort of definition or very technical definition. Okay. And in loosen, what you're saying is they're all correct. When you say like awakening mind, or people who have the aspiration to become Buddha or the fully awakened person in order to be able to benefit all beings, right? Bodhicitta, in technical term, I mean the full definition bodhicitta is a primary mind. You have to start with that. Bodhicitta is a primary mind or main mind. Are you getting that? Primary mind and the body. Make sure that the mind and body is not the same. Meaning the physical body and the mind. And then most often people may, pointed to when you say body, the physical body or the brain. People often, pointed to the brain, right? But forget this, just leave them aside for the time being. So bodhicitta is a primary mind that wish to attain full enlightenment of completely awakened one in order to be able to benefit all sentient beings. This is the full kind of definition, bodhicitta. Are you getting that? Bodhicitta is a primary mind. Primary mind. It's actually Buddhist psychology, and no, it's not psychology, but it's actually the full definition that giving. And then when you say, what do you mean by primary mind and secondary mind, right? Another question come, definitely. That's what your question?
I was going to ask, is the primary mind, is it separate then from the ones, I mean, we're talking about
Uh-huh.
for the benefit of others.
Right,
so
right.
Is there that separation between self and other in primary?
Very good question coming here. Good. Primary mind. Okay, now we have the mind, right? Everybody agree mind is existent? I'm asking. Are you sure? If you don't have mind, I guess we won't be able to move around here there, right? I mean, for people who have this kind of physical body, without the mind, probably difficult, right? But mind and self are separate. That's true. And when you say person, self, this need to be, you need to understand quite, like we can study very low, we can study in details. But what I'm saying, a primary mind, when you study about the psychology, the mind, and the mental factors, have you heard the? Yeah, I think told you about that. My mind can be classified in two: primary mind and then mental factors. And then we have how many primary minds? 6 primary minds. Primary minds mean main mind, other than the physical body. Mind is not the physical body. Make sure that that's understood. You want get it? Get it? If the physical body is mind, what kind of contradiction? What kind of problem can arise? Can you think of some?
Would end,
What was that?
would end at the end of life.
Really good. That's really good. If the physical body, if the mind is not other than the physical body, then when you die, whether you cremate, whether you burn, like when bury, and there's no continuity. That's what you're saying, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's very interesting. That's really to the point in a way. That's right.
I mentioned this when Lo Sang was here, that many physicists believe that the mind is the quantum mechanical wave function. So it's analogous to the
Quantum mechanic.
electromechanical or electromagnetic wave, or the
Mm,
electric
mm.
energy wave, and a corresponding orthogonal magnetic wave.
That many people are doing some research on that. Many scientists, physicists, neuroscientists, they are doing this research of that, whether the mind is something, like a tangible or not, whether the mind can be measured by machine or not. And when you, if yes, it could be, it could be like a physical or not, but mind is non-physical.
Well, they say that it's an energy wave, but it's not electromagnetic, so we can't measure
If
it.
it is not electromagnetic, so what is it then?
It is an energy wave,
Energy.
but it's not electromagnetic, but it's non-temporal and non-spatial. And the critical thing is that there exists an orthogonal probability distribution
Okay, anyway,
associated with
right,
it,
right, right,
which is what we call karma. And that's why it manifests right, at certain places.
anyway, don't worry. Yeah. Okay, now the physicists, quantum physics, particularly quantum physics, they are fascinating about checking this kind of experiment about the mind and in the quantum level. And then checking with the, I don't know how they do, but they have some expertise about how to do these things. Whether they will really find in any kind of result or not, very much questionable. Because it's, when you're saying like it's not electromagnetic, but it's a wave, it's energy. In the form of energy, they talk a lot about the energy. And then there are some kind of the research going on. It's called Tuktam project. Have you heard this? Tuktam meaning some practitioner, people who meditate like emptiness and compassion, or altruistic mind, bodhicitta, the who really are very expert how to work with their mind, and they are expert to know their mind very well. They can control their mind. They can transform their mind into like the enlightened mind, awakening mind, and with the combination or the like a complementary with the understanding of the reality, meaning emptiness of the mind, and then the bodhicitta, and they can remain in meditative state, even they are clinically declared dead, and their body can remain fresh, and their flesh, even in the like a face and their flesh, what do you call it, the complexion, they even become like a really radiant. And some practitioner, they remain clinically, the doctor, the hospital, they say they are dead. There's no breathing going on. There's no kind of, the blood, the flowing going on in their brain, but their body doesn't smell for like days and days. And His Holiness the Dalai Lama's senior tutors, Kyabje Ling Rinpoche, have you heard him? It's His Holiness the Dalai Lama is one of his senior tutor. His reincarnation is now in 40s, but the previous one, when he passed away, he remained in that meditative state for 13 days, I think. And there's no smell, nothing, but his, you know, face and body is just glowing. And then the doctor, the modern doctor, physicist, whatever, they have no answer. What is it? And the doctor said this breathing is stop. And then the brain activities also stop. And he's really remain in fresh body. And it's really fascinating things are there. And then there's another great practitioner, I know him quite well and went to see him too, from Devon. I think he was the 100, Ganden to Lamasong Kappa. Have Lamasong Kappa? Have you heard Lamasong Kappa? I think we talk about, Lamasong Kappa is a 14th century great practitioner of Tibet. And his heir, who hold his the lineage, and the 100, they are like now is 105, who hold his teaching. From generation to generation, they pass from person to person. And his name is Lobsang Yima from Debung Monastery. There is a monastery called Debung. in South India. He's from one of the monasteries there. And when he passed away, he remained in that meditative state about 19 days. And in South India, that time is very hot. The weather is very, really, very hot. And I don't think they have kind of, like a fridge or, like a, what do you call it? Air conditioning to keep body fresh or sort of thing. No. But he remained in that meditative state for 19 days. Wow. Everybody was, what is it? They were really fascinating about that. And I think His Holiness spoke during the teaching time, this is what is happening. And then there were some scientists. There's one local hospital in Dharamsala called Delek Hospital, and they have some mission. And then some researcher, and then they went to South India to check his body, what is going on, and putting this electric wire, it's called EEG, fMRI, whatever. They have some different kind of machines to put it on their head and some on their chest. I don't know wherever. And one person actually told me, it was really, really reliable person who knows how this done. And this scientist, very good scientist actually, they're really, really expert in doing this kind of measurement. And they put this little wire, some of this wire that can detect what is going on with their body. And there's no breathing, no blood flow, nothing, clinically completely dead. But when this mission put, close to him, his body, his holy body, and just sometimes there's some signal coming from the heart and the backside somewhere. Some signal come. And then they don't know what is it. They have no idea what is it. When you say electromagnetic, we don't know. And what they were saying is probably some sort of energy, but they have no idea what is it. The modern scientists, they have no idea what is it. But they're really fascinated what is going on here. So because this is, when people are all the time try to meditate correctly, and when they realize, when they achieve, a certain level of understanding, and then the power of the mind, nobody can stop. And then whether the machine can measure or not, another question. But they have no answer. They can see some signal, even though they're dead. And we talk a lot about the mind, the gross mind and subtle mind. So very, very subtlest mind. Our own, I think we talk a little bit about the Buddha nature. I think so, right? When you say, awakening mind, if you don't have the potential to become fully awakened person, the very true nature of mind is clear, is knowing. The nature that, the affliction, we call this affliction. The affliction meaning the mental dirt, like the, external dirt, you can remove it, right? We can wash it, you can, sweep it, right? But the mental dirt, which are rooted by ignorance, not knowing the reality, how it exists, how it appear, and how it exists. We are always dreaming. We are just believing what it appeared to you. And because of that, we are just, keep suffering again and again and again, right? So when you say bodhicitta and bodhisattva, bodhicitta is the awakened mind, meaning selfless mind, other cherishing mind. You could have so many different terms. Other cherishing mind, dedicate for others, be less selfish, a less egoistic person, less aggressive person, less kind of attachment, like a less, what do you call, competitive mind. Try to all the time try to recognize this, negative kind of mental attitude, and always try to, improve, try to strengthen the positive mind. For example, compassion, kindness, patience, not competitive mind, but like more like sharing, caring, this. And this is how our mind can improve, how this is how our, we can make the grow, we can make the development for our mind. Okay, so why I'm just asking bodhicitta and bodhisattva, for example, I look at his holiness the Dalai Lama and many other other beings who are completely dedicated for. I think Mother Teresa. Have you heard her? I read about some of her books. Oh my God! It's if you just keep reading about how they're physically they're quite tiny, I guess, like a Gandhiji, and their physical body is quite small, and they wear just very simple cloth. And then people who ask this question about how they really serve others and how this kind of energy come to them, when you're reading the answer, it's like, wow, it's really really mind sort of blowing. And we all can do that, why not? Right? We all can do, like, why not? Then we have to start. So I think a few days ago I was saying well, the bodhisattvas can appear in different forms and different times and different places. And whether you believe in religion or not doesn't really matter. Doesn't no worry about whether you claim yourself a Buddhist or Christian or Jewish or Hindu or Muslim. The main thing is we have to be really like honest to yourself. Be honest yourself, meaning, am I doing something wrong? Am I something in my mind is really doing something that like too much selfish, or too much kind of attachment, or too much aversion, too much in doubt, too much suspicion. Actually, suspicion actually make you really throw into so many difficulties, right? And yes, of course, you have to be really skillful. You have to be really open-minded and realistic-minded, and look at like a very broad way the situation. The whole thing could be in family problem, could be in at the work. You may have some kind of conflict could occur. Definitely, since we are human being or meaning ordinary beings, it's a problem bound to happen. But then always try to how can you really resolve this little small problem. And then if the small problem escalate, then it could cause long big problem. So yeah, but like exactly. So we have to minimize from at the very first time. I think in the guide to the Bodhisattva way of life, I think even the the 37 practice of the Bodhisattva practice, there's one verse called Chasung Yomota Bukemota. It says any negative, if in a negative or afflictions that arise in your mind stream, the minute you realize that, you have to just restrain it straight away. Try to restrain it, otherwise it go uncontrollable. You can't control. And then if it become uncontrollable, then we may become like a crazy. Anger with the we may become like a crazy with anger. We may become with the crazy about attachment. We may become really really crazy about aggression, which is ugly, right? We can really realize these are ugly, right? So then always try to just you know it's really just our own benefit. It's really our own benefit. And then at the same time, you can really benefit others as well, too. Right? So because of that, I think this text is very, very important. And it's quite easy to understand when you read. But then I was asking about bodhicitta and bodhisattvas. Bodhicitta is a mind, yes. It is, it is a form, when you say it could be some people in the full, picture that you said, bodhicitta is a wish, is a mind that wish all being free from suffering and then the causes of suffering. Very, very beautiful mind. And another word people say, altruistic mind, right? Altruistic mind, awakening mind, and bodhi mind, meaning you really wish other happy, and I'm here for you, like this kind of attitude. If you have this kind of motivation in your mind, and many, many problems could solve quite easily. But you have to work from where you are, where we are, and then we can make a lot of changes. We can make a lot of progress. So each one of us, I think, responsibility to create good human society. What do you think? Do we have a responsibility? Why? Because we all depend each other, right? And then the Buddhist explanation of interdependency and interconnectedness, you could look at outside, without depend on each other, almost nothing can work, for individual level to international level, right? So country depend on each other. Could be economy, could be education, could be environmental protection, could be health, could be, I don't know about the different things. It shouldn't be there, but what can you say? And sometimes I feel like, this kind of contemplations sometimes help, What was that? The other day, one day I was just watching something, and you know the the leaders or politician or leader and whatever, you have bodyguard, right, with big machine gun and holding. Why they are holding this big machine gun? To protect some no dangerous animal? I don't think so, right? Chasing this dangerous animal or demon or spirit or what? I was really puzzled, sort of mind kind of thought came to my mind. Why we are holding this huge machine gun and label like a guard or security guard or I don't know, security guard. And other human being is just a tiny little bohem, it's very tiny, like this physical body they have too. I don't think they are monster in a way, I guess. And why I'm saying this, and if people think like, if you find people who could think we don't need huge mission gun or bomb or things to protect, to chase another human being. What do you think? But it's complex. It is really complex. It is very, very complex how this society is set up. But
Use it for fear, and fear creates order.
it just the whole fear, whole fear actually create this. In reality, you don't need to gun to protect you. That the fear is that other person will harm you, and I should have the security. And then when you say security, if we have the great compassion, the arms of the compassion and understanding, I don't think anybody can do anything. I mean, even though they try to do, but they won't be able to do much, right? And it's like really puzzle thinking. Human beings are creating all this destructive thing and to chase another human being away or rid of the other human being in order to gain your security. What is that? It doesn't make sense, right? But yes, it's really true. It's very, really complex. It's not really easy to solve this kind of thing. But yes, we all have responsibility to create good human society, positive human society, very cooperative human society, harmonious human society, definitely. Each one of us can do our own part, right? We can do our own part, even though we can't reach up to that kind of, I don't know, high or low. I'm sorry. Right? Those who are really protective with the, maybe yes, they are high. Maybe they are in a high position, definitely. But then I'm sorry. Well, I mean, I'm not here to criticize anybody, but yes, security measure is important in a certain point, but what do you call it? There are some people who do some strange thing too, right? But then you have to find a very skillful way. So what you say, Bodhisattvas or Buddhas, And I mean, some of you may have an audience with His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Have you? None of you? I mean, Melinda. Yeah, you had. Anybody else? You never had? Okay, I mean, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, yes, the Indian government offer like a security, for him, definitely is very important. And then also when he travel around the world, you have the security people, but this is not really like chasing the demon away. I don't think so. It is just for, I mean, they need to protection, right? Protect him, because what happened in 1959 when he escaped from Tibet, the what do you call it, PRC, the Chinese army, they want to invite him to like a nightclub at the army camp, and without any bodyguard, no assistant, no attendant, only him. And they're planning something strange, right? So because of that, all the Tibetan in the capital of Lhasa, they just gather around his residence. No, you can't go there. And the best thing is just escape. And then he just run away to Tibet. Sorry, run to India. But anyway, why I'm saying this, when you go to see His Holiness and when you're in the present, uh, I don't know what kind of feeling, maybe I think in the future maybe you will have, definitely. These days there are many people around the world particularly make trip to see him. What you can do is, if someone is interested to go to see him, you can email to the office. Now he actually in Ladakh. He just traveled yesterday in the northern India. Ladakh, have you heard Ladakh? It's in northern India. He left yesterday and arrived in Ladakh yesterday. And I think he's going to spend there about probably 1.5 months or a little more, because in Dharamsala where he live, it's a rainy season now, and it gets really moldy, wet. So Ladakh is quite dry, and the climate and the food and everything is very much similar as Tibet. So usually he go to Ladakh and spend most of the summer up there, because it's for his health. He is like he is the embodiment of the Avalokiteshvara, meaning the embodiment of Buddha compassion. But then for people like us, for common people, he just show as a simple Buddhist monk. And then he also just walk and eat at the same exactly what we eat, and how way we walk, how we spend our time, how we spend our life. He's just showing exactly the same as us. So in one time, I could show, this is really interesting. I was earlier, and I did have an audience with His Holiness a few times, but not really that spending many longer time. And one time, I think 2015, in Sarah Monastery, Melinda, Sarah, right? At Sarah Monastery, where we had the conference called Mind and Life Conference. And, Mind and Life Institute is a very important institute, which was initiated by His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Mind and Life. Mind and Life Institute. So where they organize conferences, seminars, and summer research institute, which was, in upstate, took place where I went there. And during the Mind and Life conference in Sarah Monastery, somehow I was there to just do some kind of, I was supposed to do some presentation. We were at junior scientists and lots of kind of a conversation. We did a little bit. And then they selected to have joined for lunch together, I think 2-3 times with His Holiness, and then all the great scientists. They're really brilliant people, and mostly from America. We have to be proud of that. Yeah, it's really true. And then this lunch, how they set the lunch, it's good to know this. They set the lunch table. They put this lunch just as when we did on His Holiness birthday. It just put like on the table like this, and then the plate over here. And when everybody enter, what His Holiness tell the others, just make your own home. Just feel like your home. Home. It was actually hosted by the Gandhi Purnami, the His Holiness and the Dalai Lama Trust. Okay, and he was the host. Yeah, it's true. And it says, just make yourself as your home. And then what he said, he just stood up and just pick up his own plate. Really, this is what he does. He just pick up his own plate and then went to the, where the food was, placed, and put what he need. And then he walked to his seat, and then just, oh yeah, another thing, the chair was set like in this way, and then he was sitting here, and then all the chairs are like, around the table. Feel free where you want to sit. You can just go and sit next to him too. That's no, I mean, of course, the important people it should be, next to him because they need to discuss, right? If someone want to do, you can do that too. It's really, really, wow. These are really, really, special occasion. And so Bodhisattvas show like that kind of humility, that kind of, simplicity. But we look at his eyes, and his eyes is like a really like a just like a flower bud, when you go close to him, and then the experience, the energy, whatever, you can't really explain. You can't really explain. I had many times audiences, and then sometimes I just make some kind of plan. I think I will say something today or ask something today. And when you get in front of him, you just feel like nothing coming up. You're just stuck. And then another thing is that why I'm going to tell or ask him, he knows everything what's going on in my mind, definitely. We just sit there and try to say that, may I get your blessing forever or something like that. This kind of feeling is really calm. So Bodhisattvas are like that, okay? So Bodhisattvas and so Bodhicitta and Bodhisattvas. We were actually trying to make the differentiation. What is the Bodhisattvas and what is Bodhicitta? So we all can become Bodhisattvas one day. If not that, maybe some of you may be Bodhisattva. I don't know, because it's a mental state, right? Bodhicitta is mental state. If someone have really completely transformed their mind from selfish to like a selflessness, meaning less selfish, and then others, someone who really completely dedicate their life to others, they're bodhisattvas. They dedicate their life, meaning they're wholeheartedly only thinking others rather than themselves, right? They are bodhisattvas. What is happening? You're really puzzled. You need to say something?
Yeah, well, back to what I was saying before,
Yeah.
but I thought there was a kind of a level of achievement of engaged bodhicitta for a
Mhm.
bodhisattva.
Mhm.
Is that true?
Yes.
Okay, so not
Bodhi,
aspirational,
yes,
engaged.
right. Bodhicitta, the definition is wish to, attain full enlightenment, completely, fully awakened person in order to be able to help others. And then it has two types. When you say like there are two types of bodhicitta. Two types of bodhicitta. It's called aspirational bodhicitta, and engaging bodhicitta. Got it? Maybe write down and then think about it and then read a little bit, some commentary. Aspirational bodhicitta and engaging bodhicitta. So aspirational bodhicitta, you cultivate first, and then engaging bodhicitta, cultivate later. There are like a cause and effect and sequential. Okay? Sequential. When you say achievement, you have to transform your mind into bodhicitta, your mental consciousness, transform into bodhicitta. And how do you really do that? And there are, like a few other steps beforehand. It's called like a 7 cause and effect, the method to cultivate bodhicitta. And then exchanging, what was that? Equalizing and exchange yourself with others method. And then that method have like 9 step, and then the 7-fold cause and effect have 7 steps. The first 6 are the cause, and then the 7th, which is the bodhicitta, all like aspirational bodhicitta and engaging bodhicitta. Okay, got it? 2 method, 7-fold cause and effect, and then equalizing and exchanging self with others, which has 9 steps. So we can do later, another time. What time we are doing? We're just talking about it. I think these are important practically. It's really practical. We have to make these texts in our own really practical life. Make it really day-to-day life, kind of part of life. The teaching has to make part of life. Are you getting it? Part of our life. Does it make sense? Yeah, it's incorporate within our daily routine from morning to evening, if possible. Of course, then you make some mistakes sometime, but then you just say, "Oh, I did some mistake. I'm sorry. I shouldn't repeat again." This is how we, this is the meaning of practice. This is really the meaning of practice. And yes, we have to learn, you know, text. What does it mean by that? And how can you really cultivate that? And then, the 37 practice of bodhisattvas who, the Ngulchen example, who was set as a best kind of a model for many, 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 many generation. And we are so happy, we are so, fortunate to meeting this teaching. This is really good. So I think we read the verse number 10, right? We finish up to verse number 9, and the verse number 10 is, and we have, some time. Verse number 10 is, okay. There are two slightly different translations. I think it's a similar. The handover, the paper you have, it has, when your mothers who love you since time without beginning are suffering, what use is your own happiness? Therefore, to free limitless living beings, develop the altruistic attitude. This is the practice of bodhisattvas, right? So this translation is slightly different, but I think I guess the meaning is the same. But I have to look at both the Tibetan and the English together because then I need to try to get the meaning more kind of clearly, even though my English is broken, but I'm learning still. From the beginningless time, your mothers have cherished you. This translation. From the beginningless time, beginningless time, your mothers have cherished you. Okay. Yeah, sure. Go. Yeah. If they now suffer, what good is your own happiness? Therefore, in order to liberate limitless beings of sentient beings, limited numbers of sentient beings, cultivate bodhicitta is the practice of bodhisattvas. And this translation, I feel more kind of connected with this translation. I don't know why. It says from the beginningless time, from the beginningless time, your mothers have suffered. No, your mother have cherished you. From beginningless time, your mothers have cherished you. If they suffer now, what good is your own happiness? What good is your own happiness? Mean your own temporary happiness. People just caught up with it is temporary happiness. Work for the bigger happiness, long-lasting happiness. You may have to little sacrifice. Therefore, when you say engaging bodhicitta, you have to engage in the practice of the bodhisattva. And what are the, engaging meaning, what are the practice you need to do? Practice of the, 6 perfections or 10 perfection. There are 10 or 6. The 6 perfections, I think everybody have 6 profession of generosity, ethical discipline, patience, joyous effort, meditative concentration, and then wisdom. There are the 6 of them. And then each one of them have also like 3 or 4 different types of them are there. So this one actually talk about you need to cultivate this altruistic mind to cherish other. If the others, meaning other sentient beings who have been your mothers, who have cherished you so many, many, many lifetimes, and if you're just so selfish and thinking only for yourself, what is that? This is what he's asking. That's not, it doesn't make sense. So better cherish other rather than yourself. I think the whole, idea about this point is this is what it is. If these beings, these all beings, all of us, maybe one point, you're maybe, doesn't matter whether you're really completely convinced to, like a belief in the river system or not. Life is not just this life, life is not just this life, this present life. It continue. It really continue. When you say continue, your mind travel. Your mind came from earlier time. This body was given by our parent, definitely, right? The physical body was produced by your parents, definitely. But then the mind travel from somewhere else. The brain is not the mind, the heart is not the mind. But then you're talking, we talked a little bit about earlier about the Tuktam project, meaning Tuktam in meditative states, in like high level meditative states. Tuktam, Tuk mean Tuk.
You know how you spell it?
It is actually Tibetan word. Tuk mean mind. Tuktam. It's meaning, staying in meditative state, remaining meditative state, meaning someone who have, achieved higher realization. Tuktam is Tibetan word. Remaining in meditative state, higher realization, those someone who have realized, someone who have, achieved higher realization, and they can maintain on that. It's really profound meaning, profound realization. Could be emptiness and emptiness and bodhicitta, true bodhicitta. Oh yeah, another thing, bodhicitta have aspirational bodhicitta and engaging bodhicitta. Then another one is also count, like a conventional bodhicitta and ultimate bodhicitta. Conventional bodhicitta and ultimate bodhicitta. So conventional bodhicitta meaning the same what you wish to attain full enlightenment to benefit others. That's conventional bodhicitta. And ultimate bodhicitta is the mind that realizes emptiness directly without kind of a medium, without the, like the, have you heard the generic image? Conceptual mind? Conceptual mind. Conceptual mind engage into the object through the generic image. Okay? And then mind, for example, my eye consciousness. The mind sense, let's use this word. It doesn't matter sensory consciousness or mental consciousness. The sensory consciousness are 5, right? My eye consciousness, I can see this mark directly, meaning nakedly. There's no kind of a medium in between. Okay? And my eye consciousness can see this, mark or thermos directly, right? But of course, the 3 conditions should be there. But if you close my eye and think about if I close my eye and think about this same thermos, my mental consciousness have just some kind of blink, sort of, some flashing sort of thing come, like a blinking sort of thing come into my mind, but I can't really see it directly. Can you? You can do this experiment for yourself. This is also another way to make the differentiation between the sensory consciousness and mental consciousness. The mental consciousness, mostly it's like a conceptual mind, and by training, by meditating, it can transform into direct, perception, meaning you could see like same as the naked eye seeing the mark. Your mental consciousness can see emptiness, interdependence, a very subtlest level of interdependency, with same as like the naked eye seeing this mark. And by removing this conceptuality, by removing all this, when you say conceptual mind, it's so many thought. It's like, the generic image actually block us to see the reality as it really is. This is this is when you do the meditation, this is how we really train, and then it's go closer to the object. When you get to the closer closer to the object, then you see the object as it is, rather than imputing, exaggerating. How many would say this is beautiful? Yes or no? Why not? Why not? Is it neutral for you, right?
Yes.
But for me, it's beautiful. It's because it's mine. And okay, maybe do another thing. How about your watch? Do you think it's a good?
It is good.
Why? Why? See,
Because it provides me service.
that's a good way to looking. But if something belong to us, we think that's really beautiful. It's mind, right? Because this mind is involved there, and then so then so you say, this is so beautiful. It's really helpful, and you're making so much kind of a in, what do you call it? In appropriate attention. You are putting you're making a lot of qualities, good qualities, even though the reality is some sort of neutral. But you say, because it's a mind, it's a beautiful, it's a helpful, it's a beneficial, it costs a lot of money, and I was able to pay for that money, and you're making too much kind of putting extra layer on that. And then if you lose this, you get so angry or maybe upset, or this thing happen, right? So this is how our mind is like obscure to see things as it really is. Yes, of course, when you look at it, it's yes, it's a cup. It's function as a cup. If you have this kind of mental attitude, it's very good. But often we don't, right? If something belong to you, if someone touch you, you get so worried. If something belong to someone else, it doesn't really connect it with you. I don't care whoever touch or whoever tag it. This is, how we do because of our biased attitude, right? Because our selfish reason. This is what we are really doing all the time. So this is how we do. When you say the training, engaging into Bodhisattva practice, meaning, we can, Bodhisattva, we won't be able to become Bodhisattva in overnight. Can we or not? No. So because of that, practice require and the study require, right? So good. Actually, we are doing good. Don't worry. Slowly we can work with that. Yeah, so what is here, meaning, here with this verse, actually from the beginningless time, your mothers have cherished you. So we could use our this lifetime mothers or parents or fathers or whoever really look after you, care you, feed you, educate you, really help you grow with a full human being. They are so precious for you. They are so kind to you, definitely, right? Same thing in a many, many, many lifetime. We have parents. We have someone who really look after them. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. Previous time, a little longer than the present time, but you can't really forget, right? So because of you can just use that logic that, oh, this lifetime, my parents, my sibling, my whoever teacher, whoever really look after you and who can give you the maximum, love and care, and then think about their kindness. And then the similar thing in the previous time that they have done same thing. And then that way your close feeling toward every being, all other beings can flow really freely. This is how you really need to train, right? Of course you need to, you if you are welcome, I think we need to know what does it mean by previous time, previous life. What does it mean? Does this really exist, like a future life or not? And you don't have to believe. You can use some logic and reason. And if you say past and future, I don't know, I want to just be happy for this lifetime. Yes, we all have a right to be happy in this lifetime, but this just lifetime, just even though you just this lifetime, maybe you live like no more than 100 years, and we can't really make so much drama for this very, 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 very short period of lifetime. Look at like me. I'm nearly 50 now. When you're looking at back my life from age, I don't know, whatever, all just memory, right? All gone. It's just the memory, nothing left. And what we have is the present. And if we try to use the present as meaningful as possible, is the best thing. And then the future will be, more happier and more comfortable for both my mind and body. Okay, I think so. Yeah, this, the verse where you say from the beginning of time, meaning cultivate your altruistic mind, in like repeatedly think about the mindful, just keep thinking about, the bodhicitta have something to do with it. I really aspire with that, and I really need to cultivate some days. And then how do you really do step by step? Okay, maybe I'll tell you this, the sevenfold cause and effect, and maybe you know, or maybe no, you don't know. The sevenfold cause and effect is step. The number one is things all mothers, or what was that? All all sentient beings once been your mothers, and remember their kindness, and then repaying their kindness. Oh, I can, yeah, very quickly say, remembering all sentient beings once your mothers, been once your mothers. Number one. And then number two, remembering their kindness. And number three, repaying their kindness. Just remembering is not enough. Repay their kindness in whatever way you can. And then the number four, seeing all living beings in the light of benefit for you. Seeing all beings like very cherishable, rather than, like pushing. All beings, no matter, whether you label enemy, friend, neutral, we create this kind of boundary. In reality, they are all our friends. Seeing all beings cherishable in a way, in the light of benefit. That's number four, right? And then the number five, compassion, great compassion. And number six, with altruistic mind. And the differences between the altruistic mind and the compassion. Compassion is to wish others free from suffering. And then altruistic mind is, I am going to free them. The more kind of intense, more, powerful. It becomes more, intense, that I have to do it. This kind of attitude. That's the number six. And then number seven is the bodhicitta. It's a real, genuine kind of heart that I am going to become a Buddha or the fully awakened beings to benefit or to free all beings. That's number seven. Okay, so I think we will leave today here. And then maybe we'll go with the other, the equalizing and the exchange of stuff with other steps. This is also very, very inspiring. And then maybe we could use for our meditation, if you have time in the morning, just think about all sentient beings once been your mother. What does that really mean? Yes, I have a mother. If some people have some difficulty with your mother, I think there are some people, right? Then you could use your father, or I'm sure we all have somebody who are so kind to you in your lifetime, right? And think about that person is so kind, and then use the same kind of attitude. Just try to expand that kind of attitude to all of it, all of the others. If someone is like being a little cruel to you for a moment, it just feel more compassionate to that person. Maybe he or she maybe not really understanding exactly what I was trying to do. Maybe he or she need some time. Keep space for that person. Generous. I guess the generosity is also, generosity. You could give them, be generous with the time and space too, right? Okay, I think we have only a few minutes left, and I think we are expecting some visitor come. Friend from New York are coming. I guess they're going to arrive soon. But any question? The verse meaning is quite easy, more or less easy to understand, right? But theoretically it's quite easy to understand, that practically difficult, right? But then when you say practically difficult, it's not impossible either. We have to keep doing it. And joyous effort is very required here. You have to be like enjoy joy to do this. So cultivate this joyous effort. Effort me here meaning is not really like a. There's a difference between the in Tibetan you saw dukri and sundi in Tibetan is like a joyous effort and enthusiasm. Another word. Joyous effort means that you have joy into the virtuous action, the positive action. And then when you say joy into joys into the positive or the like a virtuous action, it include the mind, body, and speech virtuous action. It all need to include. Okay. So it's really, I think it's really inspiring teachings in a way. Nothing's talking about you have to bow down somebody, you have to convert in this and that. All just talk about how you want to become a good human being by, applying this teaching, right? And then you can do a lot of debate too to sharpen your mind. Sharpening your mind is very important too. Sharpening means wisdom, increase the level of wisdom. So we have the we have the potential, we have the innate kind of wisdom within ourselves, and then we can sharpen it, make our mind very quick, sharp, clear. That's the analytical meditation help us analyzing how this negative thought that came in my mind, I really need to rid of it. And then look at that, you know, just check it. If you get angry so badly, we don't feel happy, no, at all. And then you just create a whole kind of space so ugly. And then you feel sometimes that I don't want to live here. And this is not right either, because you have some sort of, selfish, because of the selfish reason, you feel I don't want to live there. Wherever you go, it's a samsara. You said the grass is always green on the other side. If you do not really change our own attitude, nothing can help. Of course, maybe temporarily, maybe you have to sometime. You have to be really realistic too, because we are beginner. We are like little baby in a way, right? Compared to somebody, we are really little baby. As compared to somebody, we are a little advanced learner, right? So you have to be really, really realistic and practical. So yeah, I think that's good to stop in any. Yes.
Sorry, question. A lot more familiar with.
What was that?
I'm a lot more familiar with the
Uh-huh.
and they have this phrase Satchitananda.
Satchitananda.
The consciousness bliss.
Okay.
I'm wondering if the chit and that phrase is answered as well. So I wonder if that related to the Bodhisattva.
What was, I'm sorry, Milarepa's, what was that? Can you repeat once again?
Yeah, sure. So being consciousness bliss.
Being consciousness bliss.
Chitananda, and that's the goal of self-realization in their tradition. I was just wondering the
I
relationship to the Bodhicitta,
It's a tradition of
Advaita
Edward,
Melody.
there must have a lot of similarities are there. I mean, if you, oops. Oh, I think visitor came. Okay.
We went from no to.
Okay, I think it must have a lot of similarities are there, definitely. But then if you go really, really more in details, you may have some nuances are there. Some nuances might be there. Okay.
Yeah.
So it must have a lot of similarities are there, definitely, because they are also doing a lot of, service and good, benefiting others, and beautiful things are there, definitely. And yes, a lot of similarities are there, but I wouldn't say that exactly the same, because you need to study more and you keep open for all tradition and explore everywhere. You must have some similarities and commonalities are there. And for example, I would say raising up like Gandhiji's action. Mahatma Gandhi. Have you heard Mahatma Gandhi? I was reading his books long ago. I was taking some kind of English language course in Delhi, and I somehow caught up picking up some of his books and his work in South Africa and the people who are giving a hard time to him. He never ever lose patience. He never ever say rude thing to others. Wow, who else could be Bodhisattva than him? I really get inspired. Really, really, really inspired. It's like, wow. So, oh, Testile, our friends are here. Okay, so we will stop here by, dedicating, just, mentally dedicated. Okay, thank you, Ajadomala. And we'll stop today's session, and by dedicating to whatever you have discussed, to dedicate that long last, so that we could continuously learn, continuously walk in this path, so that we can be a good human being, do more service for others, and by doing this beautiful, creating this practice, may all the enlightened beings live long and their activities continue to bring about peace, compassion, harmonious society in the entire universe, I would say. Okay, so thank you so much. Thank you very much for everybody, and enjoy your day and continue to enjoy your life. And don't forget to smile and laugh. Yes, maybe there are some certain time that you may have to serious, but don't get that serious. If you do so serious, sometimes you put extra kind of stress, and you shouldn't have. What was that?
You take out the joyous.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much. Thank you. And then enjoy tea and snacks and whatever you feel free. You can go do some Kora at the money over there if you have time. All right. Thank you so much. Okay. Bye.
Doing good.
Thank you. Okay. Bye.
So it's easy to pick two clouds.